Turn here. Yeah. Yeah.
The guy in the garage.
No, I don't know.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to our October 15th, 2018 meeting of the County Commissioners. We'll start a meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first on the agenda we have Julie Jensen-Kelley, presentation of the Y Corporate Challenge Spirit Award.
This goes along with the other award that we received from the YMCA for winning the corporate challenge. But this is the Spirit Award that was awarded to us by the Y. Amanda came by a couple weeks ago and gave it to us at Community Corrections. So I just wanted to present it to the commissioners today. Again, thank you for your support and allowing us to participate in that event. So I'm going to hand this over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. And good job on that.
Good job. Good job. Good job.
Thanks.
Just set it down there for now.
Okay, next on the agenda we have our attorney, Matt Shipman.
Hi, I've got 2 or 3 things kind of to go over. It's been with the tax sales coming up next Thursday and a couple other things that have kind of come up. So just to kind of keep everybody in the loop, the last week, I believe, Jana and Laurel and I went to a couple of different hearings related to the tax sale, one of which is the old Cardinal Grain building. The previous owner gave that property to the redevelopment, the Columbia City Redevelopment Commission, and they're in the process of trying to remediate that property because there's some contamination issues. So they asked Judge Rentschler last week for permission. There's a clause in the law that allows properties where the cost to remediate them exceeds the value of the property for the judge to take those out of the tax sale. The purpose being, want people that aren't going to, deal with the properties ultimately to be able to get title to them. So the Judge Rentschler did remove that one from the tax sale. There was also on your agenda, which has been removed, a Brownfield Property notation. After going through that with Gianna and Greg Hockmeyer, again, the attorney for the Redevelopment Commission, we don't think that's going to come in front of you. It actually goes through the Property Appeals Board, then through to the city, and then ultimately to DLGF. So we're not going to have to deal with and that's a request for a property tax credit that's for the amounts that previous. We also had, again, a tax sale issue, an individual who is trying to say that we can't charge him property taxes, and he's occupied a lot of Gianna and Laurel and I's time. I don't know if she's here, but recently, ultimately, we had a hearing on that one last week. The judge has denied all his requests. His property still is in the tax sale, but there's a potential for that to get appealed yet this week. If it does get appealed, we'll let you know what happened on that. Then just 2 other ordinance things to report on. One that's been tabled, waiting for me, was the dog barking ordinance. You wanted me to investigate where the funds went for those fines, and ultimately it doesn't say in the ordinance, so as a result they go to the general fund. So I just need direction, I guess, from you guys, or whether you want me just to work with the sheriff just to redraft the ordinance to put it where he wants. We'll have to do a new ordinance. And then we did investigate enough now that I feel confident we can do some form of kind of grass clipping on the roadway ordinance. Again, just need direction from you guys. if that's something that you want us to pursue and bring for either next meeting or next month's meeting.
Okay. Commissioners, any thoughts on the dog ordinance? We'll start with that one first.
I like his thought, and that was to speak to the sheriff. But if the sheriff has no particular place to go, then it just would go to the general fund. Then that doesn't require much, right?
They wouldn't have to do anything. If that's
Yeah.
my understanding when this first came up was that they didn't want it to be that way, and that's why they're asking the question. I don't know where specifically they do.
Yeah, I think they probably should have told us if they wanted it to go someplace else. So,
It's possible that he did.
So-
It was a month or two ago, and I can't remember. I
Right.
think Jason Spencer is the one that kind of brought it up, and so I just circle back with them.
I don't recall them saying a particular place they wanted it to go, but
Well, I know that they hadn't had to use the ordinance for a couple of years,
Yeah.
and they knew that they had when they were going to go have to use it for, and so before they maybe went back out, they wanted to figure that out. So maybe they don't know. They just needed an answer.
So I'd make a motion that we table it until the attorney has time to speak with the sheriff and to find out if he has a certain place it wants it to go, otherwise it'll go in the general fund.
Second. Okay, I've got a motion to table until next meeting. I've got a second, and that is ordinance number 2009-08, an ordinance requiring the restraint of dogs and banning disturbance of the peace by domestic animals. Any other discussions on this? Hearing no other discussions, all those in favor raise your right hand, opposed the same. Thank you.
Next one would be the grass clipping ordinance. At this point, to me, based on our ordinances we have, there's clearly a good spot to put that in under the nuisance trash, the ones that Scott sometimes brings to us. We can put it in, I think, within the confines of that one. It's a matter of whether there's a consensus that you want me to go ahead and do that. And I know, Don, you said the city maybe just recently passed one, so. If that's something you guys would like me to put together, I could get that ready for probably again, I guess.
Well,
November.
to me, the big deal would be by spring. That would be the big deal to me.
But the other concern I got, even when the county does some mowing, they still get some grass in the roadway. And there's no way to get away from it. And I understand what the ordinance is for, safety reasons. I understand that perfectly, but what are you doing some of them issues that,
I
that's
think
my
maybe
concern.
the way we describe it is that it's more of an intentional, okay? The county isn't blowing all the grass on the highway, at least I don't think. I think they just, as a result of mowing curbsides, sometimes grass gets on there. If I'm correct, what you don't want is people mowing along the roadway and intentionally blowing all the grass onto the road. And we could.
I just simply think they can turn around and go back the other way and
blow it off, too.
blow it off. But if we as the county put grass on the road, then we're as wrong as they are. So I'm not sure. Maybe we ought to.
But you understand what I'm saying.
No, I do, and quite frankly, that was one of the things that I saw that bothered me a lot. So I guess, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to have a little time to speak with County Highway and see if, I don't want to be the lawbreaker.
No.
So,
And even a lot of farmers mow their own, and it gets out there with a bush hog or something. And it's not like a lawnmower where you can control it.
no, I mean, you're right, I got that. But I think there's got to be some way it can be
And I don't
remediated,
disagree
too.
with that at all.
Yeah, so perhaps we should
Just
wait a little bit and let me talk to
Talk to Brandon.
the county highway.
All right, I'll hold off on that one. The only other thing I have, if you guys are, at this point, maybe makes sense for me to kind of talk about the zoning ordinance at this
Yes,
point. So,
if you would, please.
Okay. So next item on the agenda, and really it makes sense for me to transition it, is at this point, as you guys know, the Plan Commission has certified the zoning amendments that have come out of the last year's committee meetings related to the confined feeding operations. At our last board meeting, we tabled that to be discussed today. And so I just want to give you some direction about what your job is today, what you can or can't do. So today we're not, you could decide to have a public hearing, but you're not required to. The three options without doing a public hearing are either to adopt the ordinance that has been recommended from the Plan Commission, to amend it, or to just completely reject it and send it back. If you adopt it, it becomes effective immediately. If you reject it, it goes back and they get you something different. And if you amend it, it goes back and they have 45 days, the Plan Commission that is, have 45 days to either ratify what it is that you've amended, or to say, no, we're not going to, and send it back to you. So you kind of would override their failure to do anything or to ratify it. So that's where we're at this point. I think from my perspective, I know there are people in the audience that have devoted a lot of time to this. Nathan's certainly here, and I would say thank you. This has been a long process, and it's required a lot of time outside of your lives and your work and everything else. And what we've got, I think, now is really come from a lot of that hard work. And so at this point, that's where we're at. Is first figure out whether we're going to have a hearing, which is probably the first step. And if we're not, then those three options are your options: approve, amend, or say no.
Or deny. Okay.
Matt, I got one question. If it goes back to the Planning Commission, if it's amended and goes back to the Planning Commission, they either approve or deny it. They cannot change it.
Correct. That is correct. They can take no action, in which case, after 45 days, it basically gets certified, or they can basically approve it. Or if they approve the amendment or fail to act within the 45 days, the ordinance stands as passed by you. So, if they disapprove it, then it would come back to you for a recertification vote, basically. But they can't change it, I guess, is your question.
Yeah, that's my question.
They could make you vote and reapprove what it is you already approved, or they could either approve it or do nothing, in which case it becomes certified.
Okay, what's the recommendation for a public hearing?
I make a motion we do not have a public hearing. I think everybody's had an opportunity to talk over the last year or so, I think they've had their opportunities.
And I do think that we as commissioners need to thank everyone for their time.
Absolutely.
And echo everything that Matt has said, because it's been a year and a half of a lot of hard looks at where we stand and what we need to do, and it's we've learned a lot. We all have learned a lot in this process, and we would like to thank everyone for that. Okay, we got a motion to not have a public hearing at this time.
Second.
Got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
So having made that decision, you're now left with the three options: adopt, reject, or amend the proposal. And I know you've all seen a copy of the recommended plan proposal, but everybody has copies of it. And I have a copy as well, so
Okay.
thanks to Nathan.
And Janet, do you have an ordinance number for this also?
It's 2018-07.
Okay, this proposed ordinance is 2018-07.
Everything changes since the planning commission meeting, you still have those been approved?
we're not having a public hearing at this point. I mean, we can answer that question if you want, but ultimately, the Plan Commission certifies it, and then it comes to us. It's not, it doesn't change.
Right. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we change the ordinance passed to us by omitting section 5.23 and making the following changes. One, we omit 5.23 opening paragraph in its entirety. Secondly, we omit RD-01 in its entirety. The following sections then would be moved to 5.22. RD-02 becomes RS-04. RD-03 becomes RS-05. RD-04 becomes RS-06. And RD-05 becomes RS-07. That would be my motion.
Okay, we got a motion to omit 5.23 residential development overlay and omit RD-01 to change, to move RD-02 to 5.22, and that would be RS-04. RD-03 would become RS-05. RD-04 would become RS-06. RD-05 would become RS-07.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion, we've got a second. Discussion.
I do just want to make sure that this is really just for a clarification standpoint, is that you guys understood is that the text you can see is the amendments of Section 5 and also Section 12. But you'll see if you look at Section 10 of the ordinance, it was impossible to do. Okay, so this whole Chapter 3, you'll see an amended Chapter 3 is attached and incorporated here and by reference.
Right.
Just to make sure that you guys understood that that was part of the.
Right.
No,
And
you
really,
have-
as much as anything for the record, I want to make sure that that's clear what we're doing.
But you got that down, that motion.
Yeah, no, it says that in here. I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood that's what we were doing, so that's not a, because it's not by text, word for word in the ordinance. Instead, it's incorporated
Right.
by, that's how Nathan and I decided to do it, because it was really difficult to do otherwise. And it would have been so confusing that I think it would have been hard to tell what we were doing. This makes it clear, I think.
Okay, further discussion?
I'm leaving in protest. This is the most obscene thing that I have seen. For months we've worked on this. One of the main purposes of this whole organizational meeting was to make certain that there would be places for residential development. I'll leave. You should be ashamed.
I think I may have misspoke and said Section 10 is also, the text of Section 10 is in the actual amendment.
Repeat that, Matt.
I just misspoke when I said the text of Section 5 and Section 12 were actually in here, so is Section 10.
Section 10.
Yeah. Everything that's amended other than Section 3 is, or Chapter 3 is in the ordinance. The Chapter 3 amendments are in the whole packet that's attached.
Any further discussions?
Call for the vote.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
Yeah. I didn't know if you got everything, so I'll get that to you. Okay.
So at this time, the proposed ordinance with the amendment will be presented to the Plan Commission this Wednesday, and they will have 45 days to deal with it?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, Nathan.
Well, the other item that I had was, or is, the plat for the Amos Yoder subdivision. On 300 South. It's a two-lot subdivision. Essentially, he's splitting the farm off of the acreage. The farm is located on Lot 1. The business that he owns is on Lot 2, as well as the overall field is on Lot 2. I'm not sure his exact intentions. I'm not sure he actually knows his long-term intentions, but he wanted to make sure that the business and farm and fields were all separated. So that's why he's come before the Plan Commission for the subdivision, and they approved it, I believe in September, and so it's before you now. It does have road frontage on both 300 South, and then on the west end, far west end, there's also a small portion of road frontage as well. So there'd be dedicated right-of-way on both those. So if you have questions for me.
And that was approved by secondary staff approval also?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. I believe there was a condition for getting a septic done and done that as well.
Existing residents, they just updated a new septic system in for the residents and a secondary soil test on that lot. A lot to the east with the commercial property or not, commercial property, where they would call it.
It's a special exception approval.
Okay.
They also got both because the building inspector felt that if the properties were to be owned separately, there would no longer be bathroom facilities, the family, and the residents. So they did get two soil tests for the lot to the east to put a restroom in the future if those properties become separate entities.
Okay.
Now, the business is going on there, what kind of business is it?
It is a, I'm not sure exactly the best way to describe it. Basically, he makes pallets, lumber, not quite a sawmill, not quite lumber operation, but he takes lumber, cuts it up, and makes pallets out of it. So kind of a, sort of a sawmill, but not quite.
And he's separating his home from the business.
Yes. Yeah. He didn't really give a lot of reasons as to why. Expectation is probably to sell the home later or to have one of his kids inherit it later.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve this.
I'll second it.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve the Amos Yoder subdivision. We've got a second. Any further discussions? All those in favor raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
Again, thank you for your consideration with the other zoning amendment as well. It's been a long process. And I
Yes, it
appreciate
has.
everyone's efforts as well, if there's any audience.
All right, so that will be read and presented to the planning commission Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll update the agenda, so that's going to be
And
on
the
agenda.
ordinance will be rewritten, sir.
Yes, it will be, as I understand it, it's not a public hearing, it's basically, it'll go under other
Yeah.
business, so yeah.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
And we thank you for your time and efforts on the ordinance also.
Thank you. Appreciate your help.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have Scott Wagner, a bid for cleanup.
I was here 2 weeks ago, didn't have a bid, I have one bid. I think Jenna sent you the paperwork from Whitley Environmental or Oklahoma City Iron and Steel, whoever, both the same company. think it was around $3,600, is that $3,650, is that what it was? So that's a bid for the Bosticker cleanup, which is on 7910 East Anderson Road near Chubusco. It's got several vehicles out there, plus household trash and garbage. If you approve it, I'll let them know that they can start out right away.
Does Mr. Bosker know about this?
Yes, everything went through the court. He was notified of all the court hearings.
Okay.
He chose not to attend.
Okay, okay.
So he may be upset when they take the stuff from his property, but he was given full under the law.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just curious.
I will ask the contractor to provide all the VIN numbers for those that have VIN numbers so that we can present that to the court so they can have them destroyed or changed.
Would it be appropriate to have law enforcement there?
I will let them know. I've already informed them of the situation and let them know that if they want that requested, they need to call the sheriff's department.
Okay.
I would think it would be appropriate for them, at least with the vehicles.
Me too. Me too. Oh. I'd make a motion that we accept the bid from, I believe it came through as Whitley Environmental, so I'll make the motion that way.
Okay, we've got a motion to accept the bid for the Bosticker property to remove trash and automobiles.
Second.
We've got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Do they get us do this pretty shortly?
I do believe they'll get done within that by the end of the week, I hope.
Okay.
Yep, they seem pretty eager. He went out and got the quote done in a day, so I think he'd like to cooperate in future endeavors, so I think he wants to make sure we get it done correctly. So.
Okay, good. Thank you. Darr, Transit Asset Management Plan and Grant Signature.
Thank you, gentlemen, for the time this afternoon. And I apologize because I believe I was supposed to get these to you earlier for review, but all it is the actual signature on the grant that went in.
We already approved it.
You have approved it,
Oh, that's what I thought, yeah, okay.
so it's just the signature
So you're just looking for a signature
on the
then?
answer.
Is it all three or just George?
It would be, I think, just the chairman,
Just Mr.
I
Schrum.
believe it was.
And Jan has a test.
Okay.
And this is a copy of our transit asset management plan.
Oh, good.
Just for you to review.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Nope, oh, we'll see. No, no, just one. So I make a motion that we allow the chairman to sign the grant application.
Second.
Motion to allow the chairman to sign the grant application. We got a second. Further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. So you haven't actually talked to her, you just told her you were going to talk to her, and she never came and saw you. Okay, at this time, thank you.
Thank you.
This time we'll discuss claims. Don?
I had a chance this morning to go through the claims. I didn't see anything unusual or out of sorts, but I would start by making a motion that we approve the payroll claims.
Second.
Motion to approve payroll claims. We've got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
I would follow that up by a motion that we approve the accounts payable claims.
Got a motion to approve accounts payable claims.
Second.
Got a second. Further discussion? All those in favor raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Okay, let's approve minutes. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at the minutes?
Move we approve them as presented.
Okay, I've got a motion to approve the regular minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. And I've got minutes for our executive session on October 10th.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Angie.
Right before the meeting, I gave you the letter and picture of Joan Western's request for Christmas gnomes to be placed on the courthouse square beginning the second week of December through the first week of January. She requests to place approximately 15 gnomes. They're each anywhere between 2 and 3 feet tall, and they will be weighted to avoid toppling in windy conditions.
Discussion?
I don't know, they're kind of cute, aren't they?
Make a motion to approve the placing of gnomes. Not something I'd ever thought I'd probably make a motion on.
Got a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Got a second. Discussion?
Any discussion?
I think we need to make sure that she works with Mark on that.
Absolutely. And I think it was Angie or someone brought up, what if someone wants to put other things out there? And my answers to that's got to be, we got to take them one at a time.
Bring it to us.
So.
Did you want to see them? Did you read the letter? Sorry, I should
No, I
have
haven't
given
even
you.
seen it.
This is her request. Right there.
Nope.
I mean, if the question is whether we're liable for them being stolen, I think our terms and conditions probably cover that, but maybe it makes sense to make that part of the motion.
Okay, would you like to amend?
Are these like handmade?
I
It
believe
looks
they
like
are.
it's just,
And I really hadn't thought about that, but I would amend my motion,
or if they get destroyed. I mean,
That
I
we
can see
approve
some
them,
kids kicking them over.
but take no responsibility for theft or loss of any kind.
Okay, we got an amendment to the presentation for the,
Second amendment.
It's still subject to Mark's approval too.
Yeah.
yes, subject to Mark's
Still
approval,
Mark's approval.
and the county not taking any liability for
Yeah.
theft or loss. Further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
It's the first.
I can put one in my front yard. I think they're cute.
They are.
Then we'll add the language on it.
Somebody probably steal them, but that's not our problem.
You're probably right.
That's it.
That's it? Matt, did you have anything further?
I do not.
Tana?
Oh, sorry, yes, right-of-way permits from Brandon. I'm sorry.
Okay, we have some right-of-way permits. The first one we have is for a 2-inch DR11 sanitary sewer service, 2 valves and a flushing station for Aqua, Indiana.
Move we approve it.
And that has been approved by our county engineer.
Second.
Got a motion to approve, we've got a second. Further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same.
Dang on things.
I know it.
You got a whole pile of them over there.
Yeah, give that to Don.
Okay, the next one is a install gas service. I'm gonna double check, but I'm gonna guess it's NIPSCO. It is, it's NIPSCO. They'd like to install a service at East 400 South. The location of the work is 810 East 400 South, right of way.
Move we approve it.
Second.
Got a motion to approve, we've got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Okay, next one we have is 600 North, Columbia City. It's from United Telephone or CenturyLink. It's to bore 600 North to replace an existing 3-pair of BSW that cannot be repaired. And I'm not sure what BSW is, but
Service. We just had that.
Here, George.
With service lines, isn't
Move
it?
we approve it.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve. We've got a second. Further discussion. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Okay, next one we have is on County Line Road on 800. It's to provide gas service to a new subdivision from NIPSCO again.
Which County Line Road? Which way?
East.
Oh,
Excuse me. I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Got a motion to approve.
second.
Got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you.
I got one more here.
We got one more.
A while back, Mr. Gump come to us about running water line, and we approved that. Now, this one is for him, 5805 North, 350 East. Permission to do directional boring under 350 East. Place a tile from the new garage to the sewer across the road. And the asphalt will be cut in a 4-foot by 2-foot square to permit access and existing sewer and repaired when done. And this has been approved by Brandon. This just came up shortly.
Move we approve it.
Second.
Got a motion to approve. We got a second. Further discussions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. Thank you. Okay, Commissioner?
Nothing else.
Excuse me. I have a relative who currently has a heart procedure scheduled for 12 o'clock noon on November the 5th. So I'm just saying I may not make that meeting.
Okay.
That's all I got.
I've got a couple of things here. First I have is Mediacom has made a proposal to us for replacing our service that we have currently between Community Corrections, Government Center, and the Highway Department. Right at this point, everyone has their own servers, and it's hard to explain this, but because of having their own servers, the service is slow and spotty, and when Brandon, our highway engineer, needs to have a fast service, he doesn't get it. And
Are we talking internet?
It's internet service, yeah.
Internet,
Okay.
okay.
Yep. So what they've asked us, they're going to provide us with 150 megabits for 2 sites, and they'll give us 300 meg at each site for $600 a month. What that does, though, is it actually saves us money for the simple fact that we'll be able to eliminate servers. It's going to be one server. The server will be the one that we have here at the Government Center, and provide better service for us, for Community Corrections, and for the Highway Department.
What about Brandon does a lot of his work down at the Highway Garage?
Well, and when he does that, right now, he's using the server down there, which goes to the server here. It slows everything up, and he has a difficult time working with that, where this will completely change that. Whether he's working here or he's working at the Highway Department will be the same speed.
Highway Garage will be hooked to it also?
Yes. Highway, Community Corrections has a rough time right now because their service is slow. And to try to take care of everything, Mediacom has offered to do this for us.
But the jails doesn't need it.
No, the jail they have their own service through Mediacom.
What about courthouse?
Courthouse also will be part of this.
They're already direct wired, the jail and the courthouse are.
Okay.
Community Corrections and the Highway they remote in to our server.
Right.
Got it.
The new contract will direct wire Community Corrections and the Highway to the servers in this building, and will change the jail. Everything will direct wire to here instead of the jail right now, and the two that remote
Just
in.
a cleaner service.
Why didn't you
coming
make the
in.
presentation?
Yeah, why didn't you do that?
Jeez, oh, pizza. You explain it so well.
Oh, silver tongue.
Yeah.
But it's a better situation for us. It's better. Brandon really is the big one that's going to help, and actually Community Corrections will benefit from this also. But it's I would ask that you approve that, and then I can bring it to the council next meeting.
I have a motion to approve the Mediacom
Here's change.
Proposal.
proposal.
Okay, we got a motion to approve.
I second.
Got a second for the
What account you gonna take that out of?
probably this year until we can run it through the budget. It's probably going to come through CEDAT from on-site, off-site.
Okay.
All right.
Any further discussions?
Did we motion second? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I took a nap there for a minute, sorry.
Blank out.
Okay, we got a motion second. No further discussion. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, the same. So we can let them know.
Is that a big deal to run wire?
No, I think,
It's going to require boring under 30 and things like that, but I don't.
for the community corrections. it
Yes,
will,
but
yeah.
I'm assuming Mediacom probably already has it. They're just, the groundwork's already been laid. They're just connecting it to this.
We have fiber optic to this building,
Yes.
to the jail, and to Well, actually, out at Community Corrections, we've got fiber optic out there already.
We're
So,
just linking it all together.
yeah, it'll be bringing everything, all the servers will be here at the Government Center in our office. That's all I have. Okay, thank you, everyone. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Got a motion? Second?
Second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you.